Last night it got down to 20 degrees. So let's see how these plants did last night. Oh, it looks kind of rough. Oh, hey there. How's it going? I never ask you how it's going. It's all about me, and I'm sorry. Today we are going to plant out some of these hardy annuals that I've been hardying off for the last 2 weeks. Next week it's going to get really cold, and in February it usually does do like a freak snow event. It doesn't look like it's going to happen this year, but it's getting down to the low 20s. So I'm a little bit nervous to be planting these out now, but I think they'll be okay, especially because I have frost cloth. So I'm going to try to plant the seedlings that need frost cloth all together, and then the ones that don't in their own rows, and then I'm going to match them to the spacing that they need. I also wanted to talk about my bed layout, because I forgot to put this in the last video. I was originally planning to do 12-inch walkways, and I couldn't even walk through them when there's no plants in them. So don't do that. Please don't do that. The industry standard is 18 inches, so that is what I'm using, give or take, or add, mostly add a couple, just because I didn't get it perfect. But yeah, it's about 18-20 inches. And then my beds are 4 feet wide, and I think industry standard is 30 inches, but Florette uses 4 feet, so she must, if she does it, you know, it must be the right thing to do. Honestly, you know, it's your preference, so do what works for you. But don't do 12-inch walkways. Alright, here we are at the 6x6 inch spacing. And I'll put on the screen which plants get the 9x9 and which get the 6x6 spacing. You know, I heard from someone, I think it was the Impatient Gardener, you know, her take was that if, you know, you hear that there's a couple of different ways to do things, then it's probably not that hard to grow that plant. And so, obviously, you know, you want to follow the advice of other people, especially other people in your growing zone. But when you hear kind of conflicting information, you know, for example, there's kind of conflicting information about spacing, it's probably okay, whichever you do. So give it a try, see what works for you, and then, you know, just go from there. And you know, I'm kind of the perspective that I want to show you guys what I'm doing, but I don't want to tell you what to do or how to do it, because honestly, there's so many different ways to do things. And what might work for me might not work for you, even if we're in the same growing zone. So for example, Florette lives just a couple hours away from me in a really similar growing climate, but she has sandy soil. So a lot of her advice doesn't work for me because I have thick clay soil. So, you know, just something to keep in mind. Or even for, I know some of you who watch my videos are in zone 8, but in the south, and you know, even though we're in the same growing zone, we have different requirements for our plants. For example, I don't have to pre-chill my tulips, but I know some southern gardeners do. But we're both in zone 8. Oh, I need my little dibber stick. Also, I know you hear that rooster in the background. That's our neighbors. So, sorry for the noise. We're thinking about getting chickens here in spring. So here's my snapdragons, and I'm going to pinch these, but I'm not going to pinch all of them just because I want some that will bloom a little bit earlier than the rest. This process is really similar to the sweet pea process I showed you earlier. Basically, after 2 sets of true leaves, you want to cut off the main growing bud. And just remember, these little baby leaves at the base are not true leaves, so you want to cut after the larger leaves. So here's one that's a pretty good example. So here's one set of 2 true leaves, another set, and then this little segment here I'm just gonna snip. Also, I wanted to ask you guys, do you normally see sets of 3 leaves? I have some in here that grow like 3 sets instead of 2 sets, and I've never seen that before. Let me see if I can find one. Here's one. It's got 3 in there. Kind of interesting. Alright, here's what I'm talking about when I said I was going to grow 2 together and see if I can separate them. So, we're just going to give it a try. Gently take them apart, try not to mess up the roots too bad. Plant them out. Also, there's a lot of worms in here, which is a good sign. Am I the only one that finds this slightly challenging to plant in these little holes? Are my holes too small? They're like 2 inches. I'm so sorry about all the traffic noise, but I told you guys, those are the potential customers. So we have to live with it, we have to. And like, I totally would do this at times when there's less traffic, but I have a job that makes me be in the office at certain times. So that's not an option, I'm so sorry. Alright, final verdict on whether or not to thin or try to grow multiple plants per cell. I think go for it if you are really limited on grow light space, but there's a couple downsides to this. So first, it kind of destroys the point of having a plug that goes directly into the hole. And second, I want to show you, here's a plant that's growing just by itself in one plug that's easy to put in the ground, and here's 2. So the plant's a lot larger. So I mean, if you're really tight on space, give it a try, but otherwise, just thin them. Alright, there we have it. All of my 6x6s are planted up, and I've already got my 9x9s planted out and covered in frost cloth. A couple notes on the frost cloth. So I only actually have a couple of the plants that need the 9x9 spacing that need the frost cloth, but our temperatures are going to get down into the 20s in the next week, so I'm just going to protect them because they're my babies. Ooh, you can hear all of that crunchy. Yeah, look, if there's frost damage on these leaves. Some of them are even kind of heaved out of the holes, but some of them don't look horrible. Let's cover these back up. Like you can see that one is kind of heaving out. Yeah, kind of rough. Like the leaves look okay, they don't look so damaged. There's a little frost in here, but everything seems okay. Calendula looks okay. I don't know, we'll just have to see how they recover. Ooh, not good. Rock solid ground. But I do have to say, these leaves look pretty fine. Usually you would expect them to be kind of mushy, but they look fine. So I guess we'll just have to see how these do. Alright, we're in the greenhouse and wow, look. This soil in here is frozen solid. These Cynoglossum look completely dead. Look, they're just mush. But some of the Scabiosa looks okay. Look at that. This Syringium looks okay as well. So we'll just have to wait till everything thaws to see how it really is doing. Here's my second succession of sweet peas. So the leaves and the stalk look just fine, even though the soil is frozen solid. So honestly, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. So I do expect some loss, but I'm hopeful that things will be okay. All of these hardy annuals are winter hardy to my zone here in zone 8. So I really wanted to try this just to see how things would fare, because this is my first time ever planting things out this early in early spring, and I also wanted to document it for you guys. I don't think there's a way to tell right now what's going to be okay and what's not, but we'll just have to wait and see. So I'll give you another update in a week or so after everything's defrosted to see how things are faring. So if you liked today's video, please hit that like button, and if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next week.